Hey, friend. Welcome back to Her 360. Today, we're doing our Sunday reset. This is all about real women building real lives with purpose, peace, and setting our boundaries today, child. Now, last week, we talked about protecting your peace by creating space in your day that belongs to you and nobody else. I told you last week we'd be back to go a little deeper because here's the deal, right? It's one thing to schedule time for yourself. It's another to honor that time that you've set with yourself and to do it without feeling guilty. So today we're going to talk about where that guilt comes from. We're going to talk about how we can get to a place where we can say no and it's a complete sentence, and how we break the cycle from feeling bad when we are trying to honor ourselves so that we can be the best version of ourselves for everybody in our lives. Let's hop into today's episode.
All the wives and mommies managing life and companies, come and join in on Her 360 podcast. Get a life for the party on your own terms, don't be sorry. Come and join in on Her 360 podcast.
All right. Now, as we're hopping in today, let's start the discussion by talking about where guilt comes from. Okay. Guilt, at least I know for me, isn't always a sign, or this is what I had to help myself understand, that guilt isn't always a sign that I'm doing something wrong. Sometimes it's just a sign that I'm doing something different and I need to give myself time to transition. So as I started putting no into like full sentences and setting boundaries in every area of my life, I realized that the guilt wasn't because I was doing anything out of pocket. Because if you talk to anybody and you shared with them what your plan was and why you were doing it, like, people praise that. You feel good when you think about why you're getting to where you're getting. The guilt was coming in because I was doing something different. And not only was I transitioning, but the people around me were transitioning as well. So one of the things that I learned is that, from not only myself, but in talking to other women, is that a lot of times for a lot of us, guilt is internalized from years of praise of being like self-sacrificial. And as a Black woman, especially when we have learned that, we got to be about our grind. And if we ain't doing nothing, or if we're taking care of ourselves, we're being selfish and we are not considerate of others. Culturally, we've taught that to be good moms and wives, we got to put ourselves last. And that's just not the case. How does anyone in any capacity, how is it rational that a person that doesn't do anything for themselves, no professional development, no personal development, no nothing, that we could be any good to anybody? Like, I know for some of us in business, we fear being seen as unavailable, or not committed if we don't say yes to everything, or if we don't, at every request, we're just there. And the truth is, sometimes that is an insecurity that we have because we are afraid of rejection and we are afraid of what somebody else's response is going to be to us setting our boundaries. But I'm here to tell you today that your boundaries don't have anything, somebody else's problems with your boundaries is not your problem. It's theirs to deal with. Your job as the boundary setter is to enforce them and to be clear in appropriate situations why you're putting them in place so that you can be the best version of yourself. I remember there was a time in business where I was working from sun up to sundown. If you were over on Substack this past week, I shared how automating my business truly helped me. And it helped me at a time in life about 7 years ago where I had to do it in order to maintain my business. And at the time when I first started automating, I was saying yes to everything. Like, I had my team chasing down clients. Like, it was a lot going on. I used to feel bad in the beginning when I would say no to a client that wanted to meet with me first thing in the morning. I'm not a morning person. I told y'all Tuesday, if you were there on Substack, or if you listened to Substack on Tuesday, I might be up, but I'm not willing and ready to talk to you. And I used to feel bad that just because 9:00 was technically a working hour for other businesses, that I thought I should be available, even though I knew that my mornings were better spent with me doing something to charge me. That's why we got back to where we were last week. I know this about me. I know that my mornings are better spent resetting for the day, clearing my mind, giving myself to kind of get back together after the kids have gotten out of the house at school. But every time, like when I used to compromise that, anytime I would compromise that, it would come at a price. I would pay for it. And so would the people that I was compromising for pay for it as well. So I learned over time that once I know something about myself and I've put a boundary in place, that it's really beneficial to everybody involved that we stick to it, because at that point, I create systems around that boundary that allow me to be more efficient, and everybody is happier when I follow those systems. When I get out of my systems, I make mistakes, and it's not a pleasurable experience for anybody else, okay? So that's why you need to know that saying no is a form of like self-love. Boundaries are not like brick walls. And they are more like, what would we call them? They're more like a segue or a bridge, to be more honest. Like it's an opportunity for you to say, you know what? No, I can't do that. And depending on how you care about the person, or the person that cares about you, being able to communicate your limits, that allows you to set healthy relationships with both you and the person on the receiving end, so that everybody's clear, and it gives you the opportunity to say yes to what's really going to matter when it matters. Like I tell people all the time, especially mothers with younger kids, like I'm an older mom, I've got a 21-year-old and I've got a 6-year-old. And I tell moms that I'm working with all the time that are coming up and really dealing with that mom guilt of telling their kids, no, it is healthy to teach your children how to set boundaries. And the best example of that they're going to get is when it comes from you as a mother. When they see mommy setting healthy boundaries, communicating properly about her needs, and holding people accountable to those boundaries, they learn how to do the same thing for themselves. You raise children that are then able to say no in full sentences and not feel like they have to be people pleasers or followers or anything like that. Their confidence is higher because they understand that there is structure and I'm allowed to do this during this time, and mommy's not available during this time to do this. And it creates this trust between you and them. And it creates confidence for them to be able to go in the world and have those types of relationships with other children and other adults in their lives. It's the same thing as it comes to like your team. You know, teams, your team, your assistants, your VAs, your contractors, they need to see you as their leader with limits. They need to know. I remember I was being interviewed on a podcast. This was many, many years ago, but someone was asking me how I built my team and how I set boundaries with my team. And I am very clear with my team on what's expected and what they are to do. And one of the ways that I would set those boundaries is that if a team member asks me something and I know they have the resources to either find the answer or it is somewhere present and they just didn't look, I don't respond. I have zero urgency to extend myself to get into something that doesn't have anything to do with me. Like I know that they work for me. And I know that their production is going to be, it's going to help push me forward as far as the company is concerned. But that's not my business. That's not my business. That is called overextending. Overextending yourself and getting into stuff that doesn't have anything to do with you. That's why your boundaries won't stick, because you exhaust yourself with getting into stuff that doesn't have anything to do with you. Kids fighting, let them fight and work that out. If you've taught them conflict management, let them deal with that. Don't get into that. Boundary. Kid knocking at the door and you have said clearly that this is something that you need to get, just leave them out there. Child, put your headphones on, turn the music up if they whining or whatever. But people have to understand that there are limits And you have to enforce those limits so that people learn what those limits are and that you can feel more connected in your relationships and feel better about yourself when you're moving forward. If you are constantly overextending yourself, you start to resent the people that keep coming to you and asking you those questions. It comes across in your tone. If you ever wondered why you were like snappy and going off, that's why. You aren't. You've set a boundary, you've set an expectation, but you haven't held it, and now you're mad because people aren't respecting it, but you're not making them respect it. So there's all types of contention that comes. Okay, so here's an example of what that looks like. Right? I told y'all I'm not a morning person. I love you, and I want to be the best K for you, but don't be trying to talk to me at 9 o'clock in the morning. You're not gonna get nothing from me. So last week I told you I started blocking off my time where I don't start to do any client work until 11 o'clock. Right now I'm walking, but I don't care if I'm sitting on the couch looking into the sky. I don't want to talk to you until 11 o'clock, okay? That's it. I've communicated that with my team. I've communicated that with my husband because sometimes he'll come out and, I'm working from home. He's like, are you working? Yeah, but this is my time. And when I get ready to start having conversations, I will, but not until 11 o'clock. Now, when I got to a place where I was bold enough to put that in place, in the beginning, I used to feel guilty because I was just doing whatever I wanted to do. But with time, a couple of weeks for me might take a little longer. You might feel a sigh of relief on day one. It doesn't matter. After I got to a place where I enforced that one simple rule in my business, just one thing, don't talk to nobody till 11 o'clock. My energy was higher. My productivity was better. My communication with my team was better. My attitude was better. I wasn't walking around snapping at folks. And I guarantee you, it is because I set a boundary and I stuck with it. And I made everybody else stuck with it. If something gets on my calendar before 11 o'clock right now, I am pissed. Okay. I'm like, how did that get there? Somebody's head is going to roll. So for you, you need to understand that saying no is not a problem. Saying no is a form of loving yourself and allowing yourself to build better relationships in all facets of your life, at home, with your kids, and professionally. All right. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to have some takeaways for today. All right. I want you to practice boundaries that feel natural to you, but are firm. Right? You don't have to over-explain stuff or even apologize. I used to say, oh, I'm sorry. No, I can't do that. No, I'm sorry. This is just what it is. Okay. So your practice this week, and I want you to jot these down and I'll put them in the show notes for you. Okay. I'm going to give you these scripts, for lack of better words. This, what do we used to call this stuff? Oh my God. It's not a template. I can't think of the word, but anyways, these are going to be like sample scripts that I'll put down in the show notes for you. And I want you to take these and alter them to what feels best for you. And when the opportunity presents itself, I want you to use it. And then I want you to be so proud of yourself when you do it. Like tag me on Instagram or on Threads and let me know what you have said no to and how it made you feel. Like show me the excitement after you've done it. Okay, you ready? Here we go. All right. Number 1. I don't take calls before 11 a.m. so I can start my day focused. I'm available after that. Firm, direct, okay? I've promised myself I wouldn't overbook this week. Can we push our call to next week? Again, firm, honest, but fair. If somebody's asking you to go do something that you don't really want to do, this is another thing that used to get me. Like I used to think I needed to show up for everything. But now, especially after I turned 40 these past couple of years, baby, I've been hell on wheels. I'm not leaving my house if I don't want to. But in the beginning, it was a real struggle for me to say no. So if you're struggling, let me give you something real quick. Hey, Donna, you want to come out and go have drinks? You know what? That sounds great, but that does not align with my priorities right now. Or maybe, thank you for thinking of me, but you know what? This time I'm going to pass. That's it. That's it. If somebody was like, oh, well, why? What's going on? You know what? It sounds great, but right now it's just not something that lines up with my priorities. I'm trying to do some other stuff and I'm just going to have to take a rain check this time. Boom. That's it. No further explanation needed. If anybody after getting something like that continues to push, that is a them problem. And you can just say, hey, I don't feel like explaining it anymore. Say that with your full chest and go back to doing what you was doing. All right. All right. A boundary does not need an explanation. A confident, straightforward no is enough. And when you start to clear your space to do something like this, you have to be willing to step up and be courageous for yourself and say no as a full sentence. Okay. So this week, this is your challenge. I want you to practice one intentional no. It might be declining something that you know is going to drain you. Not putting an extra meeting on your calendar because it's going to interrupt your rhythm. Don't schedule in the time block that you have scheduled for yourself. Just simply protect that personal time. Even if nobody else sees it, even if it's not a challenge for you, you've made a commitment to yourself. And I want you to I want you to maintain that commitment at any cost. All right. That's your single challenge for the week. All right. You don't owe anybody burnout. You owe yourself peace. Protecting your space does not make you less valuable. It helps you stay valuable to the people and the things that truly matter in your life right now. Okay. That's it. That's it. That's your Sunday reset. All right. Now, if this episode resonated with you, friend, I need you to head over to Substack if you hadn't already. Reply to this week's email or tag me on IG or over on Threads and just tell me what you said no to or what you're going to say no to this week so I can cheer you on and give you the support that you may or may not need for the week to keep going. All right. Remember, friend, you're not selfish for setting boundaries. You're smart. You're strategic in setting the tone for how other people are going to treat you. All right. That's it. That's it, friend. I'll see you next time, next Sunday, same time, same space. Bye now.